How's it going, everyone? In this video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. For this episode, we're going to be hopping into some MLB The Show 17, 18, and MLB The Show 19. I kind of wanted to go back a little bit and play some of these previous years of MLB The Show and Online Diamond Dynasty. Kind of compare a few differences here and there, but this is MLB The Show 17 right here. We have Carlos Beltran coming up to the plate for a couple of home runs. This is actually the 2004 postseason version of Carlos Beltran. It's kind of ironic how he was the best card in MLB The Show 17, and honestly, arguably the best player in any MLB The Show game history. I think that you could argue that Carlos Beltran, with the switch hitting ability, with that power, and a 5-tool player, all around great player. This is when the stats maxed out at 99, so he did have 99 power and 95 power alongside some pretty good fielding and speed. So anyway, it's kind of interesting with the allegations for the Astros during that 2017 season. But if you guys are following me on Twitter as well, you might have seen some of these highlights already. I have been trying to post as many clips and highlights from some of the games that I've been playing. If I get, a bunch of home runs in one game, or have a couple of games where there is not too much action, I'm trying to combine all of the action into shortened clips. So make sure to follow me on Twitter as well. Some of these clips, though, will be games that you guys have not seen on Twitter or even on Twitch during the live stream. I have played a few games off stream, and I wanted to kind of show some highlights from some previous years, as well as some of the new games I've played, or some of the new content that I've played with MLB The Show 19. I know during one of those tweets, I said, I want guys like Jimmy Rollins, Joe Mauer, and Victor Martinez back into MLB The Show. I accidentally typed MLB The Show 19 rather than this year's coming game that launches in about 3 weeks, MLB The Show 20. I would really like to see a lot of those cards back into MLB The Show 20, and they were always really good. We had Joe Mauer in MLB The Show 18, and he was the cover boy, in MLB The Show 12 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But I am excited for the brand new MLB The Show game that's coming out with early access on March 13th. And of course, when the game officially drops on the 17th, everybody will be playing it that has not yet pre-ordered the game or whatever the case is. But I'm excited for all of the cards from the 90s and the 2000s. They have revealed quite a few prospect cards, so make sure to check those out on Twitter as well. But something that I noticed, that I kind of looking back playing some of these older games, is the difference in pitch speeds, the difference in the sensitivity for the PCI, just minor adjustments that I think you would have to make over the course of playing these types of games. When I get to MLB The Show 19, I figure that my timing will be a little bit off after playing some of these games, but that's all right. If you guys watched the previous video, I've already made World Series, and I haven't really played too many games on Legends, so I might go ahead and do that in this video as well. But Babe Ruth was a great card in MLB The Show 18, as well as, of course, MLB The Show 19. I am glad that I kept these games installed on my PlayStation, simply so that way I can kind of go back and play them at any time. I know that the servers will still be available for at least another year, or maybe 2 years for MLB The Show 18, and a couple years for MLB The Show 19. But I know some people didn't necessarily like MLB The Show 18 as much. I still felt like I had a lot of fun with the game. I still played it quite a bit. And my records, if looking back on some of these games, my records were pretty much the same in terms of wins and losses. I think I might have had a few less losses in MLB The Show 18 than I do this year in MLB The Show 19. But in 20, I'm looking to improve once again and keep continuing to improve, playing some of these games, as well as maybe hopping into some of the custom leagues and offline modes or variety of modes that they will be implementing into the game. So now we're in MLB The Show 19. I wanted to play a couple games on Legends, so that's exactly what I'm doing right here. And I actually matched up with a couple people that I know. I know B-Sauce on campus. I know he's a big-time supporter of the content. I've seen him in my live stream. I've seen him comment on some YouTube videos as well. I wanted to include some highlights from this game. Justin Verlander got absolutely rocked for 5 runs without even recording an out. And this will be on Legend, so it's going to be challenging to score those 5 runs right back. I have a couple opportunities. I took advantage of that opportunity with the 3-run shot from Honus Wagner. This one with Willie Mays, I felt like I was on it. Definitely an early swing. But when you're losing in the game like this, you have to be able to get rewarded, especially on Legend, because the pitch speeds are drastically faster, as well as, you know, the PCI is much smaller, and you're going up against some really good players when you're playing on Legend. You have to get rewarded in that way. Anyway, I did have a couple opportunities in this game, but I was like 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position throughout this point of the game. That's not going to be able to win a whole lot of ball games, especially on Legend difficulty, against a player who I'm pretty sure has a top 50 banner a couple times. Anyway, he was in the 1,000th rating, and we ended up losing that game. He did have a couple of solid swings that went out for home runs. He also had some lineouts as well, so it wasn't just a one-sided game. But I felt like I got outplayed. You know, if I didn't give up that 5 spot in the first inning, then, you know, it might be a little bit of a closer game. But I still had a couple of chances to score. I just did not clutch up, especially with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Anyway, we got some headliner packs from completing some of these program stars and whatnot, so I figured I would open up this bundle. I recently made it to the World Series, so as you can see, I have 400 and something thousand stubs. I picked up a couple pitchers in the meantime. I had about 500 and something thousand. I picked up Walker Buehler, Jacob deGrom. I also picked up the Player of the Month, James Paxton. That's a card that really pitches well against me. He was who the opponent was using, B-Sauce, in that previous game. But in this one, we're going up against NG Perfection. NG Perfection is a really good player. He plays a lot of BR. I know he's good friends with a lot of people in the community, so I wanted to give him a shout out as well. If you guys want to follow him, I will post his Twitch live stream link down in the comment section and pin that as well. I think B-Sauce might stream every now and then. I haven't been a part of any of his streams, but I do know that he has a Twitch account as well. I'll try and look into that. But some really good games right here. I felt like I was going to be able to hit the ball a little bit better in this one after playing one game on Legend. I was able to kind of get the pitch speeds and get my timing down a little bit from playing those previous years with the different timing and different sensitivities with PCI placement and things like that. I felt like in this one I was a little bit more locked in at the plate. Don't get me wrong, I still had some bad swings. I still you know, had missed a couple pitches that I could have hit up until this point in the game, but I got a little bit lucky as well. NG Perfection squaring the ball up. I was able to minimize, even though that was a really solid hit right to Babe Ruth in left field. Here, Jimmy Fox is smacking a line drive to the gap. I'm just squaring up the ball more consistently in this game. I felt like I was able to turn on a fastball, and in the previous game, I wasn't really able to do so consistently. I felt like the pitches were a little bit tougher to pick up. It was the first time I played a game on Legend in like a month or so. But in this game, I did get a little bit lucky for sure. We have a 4-run lead, but Cody Bellinger is the one that hit the home run earlier. 5-run lead, but that one could have easily made it a 4-run lead because some of his good hits, I mean, were just right to my fielders. They stayed in the yard, and something that's kind of out of your control as a user. You know, when you put user input into the game, sometimes some of those lucky chances go in your favor, and sometimes they go against you. But Cody Bellinger is one of the better cards in the entire game. I wanted to include these last couple of innings because Bob Feller is going for a complete game. Even though it's not a shutout, I needed to use Bob Feller in this one for the entire game. As you can see, 123 pitches. This is the most I've ever used a pitcher in this year's game, MLB The Show 19. But I wanted to focus on this because I took out Verlander in the first inning of last game against B-Sauce. I had a completely wiped out bullpen. Everybody was exhausted. I wanted to go for the complete game to try to give those guys some rest. And I've seen crazier things happen to where I have given up, 4 or 5 runs in the 9th inning to lose the game or to tie the game up and blow the save, stuff like that. So I wanted to be cautious. I do have a couple guys warming up, but 135 pitches, and he still has a little bit of energy. He is in the red range, which means it's going to be extremely difficult to strike people out. He's going to be able to have an increased PCI size as well as a much larger contact window. But we do get the pop up there, and we end up getting some of those points right back that we lost. But we're both in the 900 rating. Hopefully you enjoyed. Peace out.